are. I'm the Managing Director at Gen Revamp Studios. Thank you for joining me today. As always, I'm excited to share this space with you. I hope everyone had a great day. So with that, let's just jump right into the topic of today's show. So the topic for today's show is, how should African Americans spend their reparations if they're allotted to them? So I thought this was a good topic because from the perspective that I'm thinking about it, normally whenever I hear people talk about it, it's normally from the perspective of buy-in. Normally people present their case for reparations, and that's usually where it ends. They just present the case for it. So for me, before I get started, first, I want you to keep the word expectations in mind. Throughout the whole time of this show, while I'm speaking, I want you to think expectations. And by the time we get to the end, you'll know exactly why I said that. So first, let's start with the argument for reparations. So normally when people are having this, the conversation about reparations, they will make the claim and set the basis on why African Americans deserve and should be afforded reparations. The conversation goes something normally like this. It's compensation for unpaid slave labor. Wealth was built off the backs of slaves, which resulted in a racial wealth gap and a generational wealth gap. The next speaking point they normally use is concerning whites utilizing incentive programs allotted through the government that blacks were locked out of. Solid claims. I'm not here to argue that at all. Solid claims. But for me, where I'm normally, so after people make the claim, right? I'm not here to argue the claim. Where my concern is expectations. If African Americans are allotted reparations, what are the expectations that go along with that? After you get that money in your hand, what are the expectations for you? Do we have any group goals? Do we have any group goals that center upon business development in our communities and key markets such as STEM and real estate? Do we have any investments that we should be investing in? I mean, what investments should we pursue? Do we have any group investments that we should be concerned about that, of course, we're individually invested in, but as a group, do we have any sectors that we would be focused on? What's the long-term thinking? What's the long-term game? What type opportunities and economic revitalization plans exist in our respective communities, right? What's an economic development plan? An economic development plan helps you realize your community's economic vision and take control of your economic future. What does that entail? Vision, mission, goals, strategies, and actions. What guides actions? Expectations guide actions. Expectations of the group guide actions, right? So I can hear people saying, Crystal, I hear everything you're saying, but people do not have a right to dictate how African Americans should spend their reparations. Other groups have received reparations and nobody dictated what they did. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. No one should tell us what to do with our reparations, right? But we aren't other groups. We have a very specific history in this country, and if the issue is that there is a racial wealth gap, and if the issue is that there is a generational wealth gap, then although we have every right to do with those reparations what we choose, we also have a responsibility to use that money responsibly. Although we have every right to use reparations as we please, we also have a responsibility to use that money and be accountable and be responsible and to spend it wisely. If these are the issues that are impacting our communities, then we owe it to ourselves and to future generations of Black people to do right by not only ourselves, but our community and for future generations. With any transformational agenda, there also should always come a transformation in mindset, or else it's useless. Let me say that again. With any transformational agenda, there should also come a transformation in mindset, or else it's useless. Or else it's useless. So now what I'm going to talk to you about is a time where we had transformational agenda on the table. And because our economics were made secondary, a plan for our economics was basically an afterthought, there was no expectations placed on our people, and it showed. The results showed of that, basically. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read to you a conversation that took place between Harry Belafonte and Martin Luther King Jr. And let me pull that up for you here. So this is a conversation between Harry Belafonte and Martin Luther King Jr. I'll put the link to the conversation in the description box so that you can also read it on your own also. So Belafonte reflected, "I remember the last time we were together at my home shortly before he was murdered. He, MLK, seemed quite agitated and preoccupied, and I asked him what the problem was. According to Belafonte, King responded, 'I've come upon something that disturbs me deeply. We have fought hard and long for integration, as I believe we should have, and I know we will win, but I have come to believe that we are integrating into a burning house. I'm afraid that America has lost the moral vision she may have had, and I'm afraid that even as we integrate, we are walking into a place that does not understand that this nation needs to be deeply concerned with the plight of the poor and disenfranchised. Until we commit ourselves to ensuring that the underclass is given justice and opportunity, we will continue to perpetuate the anger and violence that tears the soul of this nation. I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house.'" That's powerful. I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house. What I took from that is that somewhere along the line, while Martin Luther King and other social justice activists and legislators, they were fighting for integration, somewhere along the line, he realized that our economics as a people, it was paramount, it was important. The 1964 Civil Rights Bill that was passed on July 2nd, 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. died in 1968. Our people integrated into the dominant society, into the white community without an economics plan, because it was pretty much an afterthought. And because it was an afterthought, there were no expectations placed on our people for our own survival and economics. An economic agenda for our people, right? So there was nothing to guide our actions. Expectations guide actions. There were no expectations placed on us. So as a result, remember, a lot of people don't think about this. Many of our people neglected the existing businesses that they had. Many of them sold them off. Many of them simply just let their businesses fall to the wayside, right? A lot of people might say, well, Crystal, they didn't have to do that. Correct. Shouldn't have. When they integrated, they should have integrated with a plan to continue working on our economic survival. They should have had a plan to continue working for the betterment of our communities as far as business development, revitalizing our communities, but we didn't do that. And since there was no plan for that, there were no expectations in place. So a lot of people, a lot of people may say, well, they should have knew to do better, or whatever the case may be. What's common sense to some may not be common sense to all. And that's why you have to convey these things to people so that they understand what's going on. And the reason why I truly believe that a lot of people look at reparations differently. A lot of people look at reparations as just a check for them to enjoy. They aren't really looking at the big picture, which is to build something, revitalize our communities, and put our future generations in a better place than we are today. I don't think a lot of people are thinking that way. And the reason why I say that is because in my personal life, I meet a lot of people that think just like me. They're thinking along the lines of, if we receive reparations, they would use theirs to pay off whatever debt they had. They would invest their money into smart investments, real estate, businesses, things of that along that line. But when I get outside of that group, I see a lot of people who just look at reparations as almost like a stimulus check. I hate to say it like that, but just kind of like like a stimulus check. It's just some extra money that they have sitting around that they could probably use for a Tom Joyner cruise, or to buy a car, who knows what, right? So and when I'm online, I see troubling things. I've seen Black men, grown men online, saying that that they didn't feel as though they had an obligation to build within the Black community, that there was no obligation and incentive to do so. Black men, red flag. I've seen Black men online telling other Black men that too many expectations are placed on them to build in the Black community. Red flag, these are the men of our community. These are the men who are supposed to be leading and building in our communities, and this is how they're speaking. This is a red flag. So that already tells you right there what they would do once they got reparations in their hands, a check in their hands, and that's absolutely nothing. Red flag. I've seen people in comment sections where they're responding to videos and referencing reparations. And I remember there's one comment, and I'll never forget it. The video was about reparations, right? And it was just this one comment that this one lady left, and I'll never forget it because it was just so outlandish. And she said, man, I can't wait for those checks to get cashed because it's going to be a whole lot of jealous people. And I remember I saw that comment and I thought to myself, is this real? I remember I just thought to myself, is this real? Is this really how people are thinking out here? And so I clicked on her profile picture because I was like, man, this has to be a troll account. But no, this was an account that had been up since 2013, I think it was. And she had some, videos up of her with her family. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot going on. So with that, I'm going to close here. And I'm going to close with when I think about reparations, what I think it is. So when I think about reparations, I believe that reparations, this is a blessing, and this is an opportunity for African Americans to re-image the Black community. This is an opportunity for business development. This is a long time to be this is an opportunity to be strategic in how we go about rebuilding our communities. This is an opportunity to close that racial wealth gap. This is an opportunity to close that generational wealth gap, right? This is an opportunity to create wealth for our future generations. This is an opportunity for us to create a platform for future generations of Blacks to stand upon versus coming into this world without a platform at all and everything being I started from the bottom story and now I'm here. Why does it always have to be that type of story for us? No other group operates like this, right? So this is an opportunity for us to really come together as a group and do something beautiful for our communities, our respective communities, because each community has different opportunities, right, where they can grow and expand. Each individual community is not the same, so I think we all have to understand that. So that's why having an economic revitalization plan is important, because you understand the economics of your community, right? So I think with that, it's important for leaders in each respective community to begin speaking with Black people, even though reparations is still in the talks, our leaders are still fighting for it. But seed planting, speaking to people and already putting that information out there, this is where we have opportunities to grow in the Black community. And if we invest our money this way now, this will put our people in this place in 2080. And if this is where they are in 2080, this is where they'll be in 3020. It's about being organized. It's about long-range thinking. It's about strategic planning. And if the true goal is to close that racial wealth gap and to close that generational wealth gap, then we have to be strategic. And that means that we have to think as a group. And if we're talking about transformational agenda, then we first have to transform our mindset. This is more than just a check. This is an opportunity to truly change the Black community and transform it in a way that will not only be beneficial to you, but our future children, their children, their children's children. This is an opportunity to truly put us in a really great place. But, and again, that comes with a transformation in mindset, But I'm one of those people that also believe that even if we never even saw reparations, even if it never passed, I truly believe that we have it within ourselves to do the work now without it. But it first starts with a transformation in mindset. And with a transformation in mindset, we could do wonders. It just truly starts with us. So with that, what else do I have? So I don't have anything else, What I want you to do is get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about what I talked about. What would you do if you got reparations? You know, how would you spend it? I realize everyone's not going to start a business, you know, and that's okay. You know, some people just want to leave behind trust funds. Some people might want to pay off debt, you know. So I'm not here to dictate how people spend their money. But what I am saying and what I am trying to convey to you is that this is so much bigger than just getting a paycheck in your pocket. This is seed money. This is a chance to truly plant some great seeds so that we can do something really great for the Black community. So that's what this is. So, you know, again, get in the comment section. Let me know about what you thought about what I talked about. What would you do with your reparations? You know, I'll tell you, if we got reparations, what I would do is, I don't really have any debt. You know, I pretty much, you know, monitor like my spending habits and things, but I would pay off, you know, like a few bills that I do have. I would make some smart investments, you know, buy some real estate, of course invest in Gen Revamp Studios, but yeah, so that's what I would do. What would you do? Get in the comment section, let me know. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I'm always excited to have you, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day.